Last orders at the bar!
A night in with Mauler and the drinker, getting trashed with the web screen dinkers. A cheap night cause I'm feeling kinda thrifty, got a 10-pack of beers and a bottle of whiskey. Hop off the cork, have a glass of wine, I feel safe, I'll be fine. Trouble walking in a straight line, but pour me a Pinot Noir. It's open bar with our hosts, Mauler and the critical drinker.
All right. Hello, you fine people.
Hello.
It is Sunday night, and that means it's time for last orders.
Whoa.
And I know technically it's probably not Sunday night for the people who are listening, but it is when we're recording this, okay? And that's what counts.
Yeah.
It's our reality right now, and you're just living in it.
Exactly.
But anyway, well, you guys sent us a whole bunch of super chats the other night for Open Bar 128, and here we are to answer the ones we couldn't get through then. So I'm just going to jump right in and answer the first one. Vila Sipo says, Despot's Woke Awards are superior award show. I agree 100% on that, actually. They're way more entertaining and probably more insightful than the actual Oscars. So,
well, I mean, whenever the Oscars get brought up, I am kind of in the position of just like, here we go again. It's like, you know, you have to keep an eye on them, I guess, right? You feel like, what are they? It tells you something.
It does, yeah. And I think the ceremony itself is sometimes interesting just for the occasional drama or faux pas that happens on the night. But yeah, there's something there. But it's like, yeah, it's that time of year again when we have to be reminded that the Academy Awards exist, sadly. Well, I think Despot's video actually got taken down. I'm sure I saw a community post from him saying it was flagged or something, and he had to take it down. So that has got to be pretty soul destroying when it's a video that's like 2 hours long, and you probably put a lot of time and effort into.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you don't know anything about putting a lot of time and effort into making really long videos, Muller.
No, none at all.
Never heard of it.
And nor have I heard of the word foreshadowing whatsoever in my whole life. So,
anyway, Cannon Folderall. Drinker 1928 also gave us Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, now lost to history, from the 1925 novel remade in 1953 with Marilyn Monroe. Cheers. Yes, it was indeed. And yeah, another piece of lost media, sadly. That's the way it goes back then. Imperial Fist Stan says, Emilia Perez winning every Oscar when literally everyone other than Hollywood hates it is hilarious and the most Hollywood thing ever. I think it's the fact that like LGBT people kind of hate it as well, and like they think the representation in it is absolutely crap. And yet Hollywood insists upon foisting it upon everyone. It's just hilarious. It's like you're literally out of touch with even the people you're trying desperately hard to pander to.
Yeah, that does feel kind of like the final boss of, you know, you guys like this, right? Wait, nobody likes this? Why didn't we make this? Like,
I don't even mind the fact that it got made because it was a relatively obscure movie. It just made a few million bucks, pretty much unheard of. It was the fact that they chose to elevate it to this insane position that it probably doesn't deserve. Yeah. Mega Spidey Man says, Drinker, why are greyhounds your favorite dog? To all, what are your favorite parts of Johnny Depp's Jack Sparrow performance? That truly was a two-parter of a question right there.
Right, yeah.
Well, how about I answer the greyhound thing? You can answer the Jack Sparrow thing.
Sure.
I like greyhounds, particularly the ones I've got, because you're kind of doing a really good thing when you adopt a greyhound that's like an ex-racer, because a lot of these animals, they finish their career at like 3 or 4 years old, so they've still got like 10 years in them, but a lot of the time they get quite mistreated and forgotten, and I think to give them a nice home and, you know, give them a good, happy life for the remainder of their life after having a pretty tough start, it makes me feel good to be able to help them out a little bit. And I think they actually just make great pets. They're very loving. They're very chill animals. And they're just pretty content with like lazing around most of the time. And they're quite goofy looking, so that definitely helps.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess for my half, I wouldn't exactly know where to stop in terms of complimenting the collection of traits that Jack Sparrow is at his best. If I was to take probably 1, 2, 3, I think because 4 and 5 it gets diluted down and it's not as much fun. But the fact that he captures basically everything I think one would want in a pirate character without reducing too much of the scoundrel aspect, but keeping all of the like sort of rough around the edges, completely, idiotic at times, having some reckless fun, just the freeness of like the pirate aspect, but then simultaneously he's quite witty, very cunning, all kinds of like tricks behind different things, does stuff you wouldn't expect, and then he's really funny. But you've also got the slight brutal side, little realizations about what he's willing to do on the selfish sort of scale, which is the kind of thing I wish we still had in a lot of the different stories we have. Like that's what Penguin was so like celebrated for. But the fact that in the first Pirates film he doesn't really intend on doing much of anything but using Will, right, to help him get what he wants. And there's that recognition in the film constantly about the nature of pirates, and that by the end of the film he's somewhat willing maybe to like make some different decisions here and there. Who knows? But and as the trilogy goes on, it gets a little bit more complicated. But the same was reflected in a lot of the pirate characters. But yeah, I mean, I would still defend that there is no Jack Sparrow without Johnny Depp. He fucking encompasses the whole character. He's perfect, and makes Pirates of the Caribbean extremely fun to watch. I also kind of like the fact that he might be the best swordsman in the entire universe of Pirates of the Caribbean. He's like,
I think it's between him and Barbossa in terms of skill. They're both like extremely good.
I just like that that's a thing. Like he's actually really good. He's just drunk all the time.
Well, yeah, one sympathizes.
Yeah.
But I was about to say the same thing, like the walking contradiction that he is, and the wonderful duality of like on the surface appearing to be this like drunken buffoon who like his crazy run, and how he's always like on the rum. And it's easy for people to underestimate him then, but like beneath that, there's an extremely cunning, extremely ruthless pirate who actually has a lot going on intellectually. It's great contrast. I love those two aspects of his personality.
And I don't have enough to say compliments wise for the first film, but the fact that he, they get you going on his character so quickly. The fact that he'll put everything on the line to save someone who's drowning, but simultaneously put a gun to her head if it means he can get out of the situation.
Yeah,
like
what really an intro he gets as well. Just standing on the mast of that ship as it sinks.
I'm not even kidding. The script for Pirates 1 is like an excellent blueprint. It kind of reminds me of The Mummy and a couple of films like that, where it's just like, man, these films they were just considered entertaining action adventures, but they are excellent compared to what we get these days.
Yeah, with films like that, they really managed to strike that balance between humor, adventure, and actually some pretty serious moments when it needs to be.
There's that, and then there's romance in them, you get horror in them, you get intrigue in them, you get surprise in them. They try to give you the full meal, so to speak.
Yeah.
You gotta love them for it.
I like it. Film Freak Pictures says, we face a realistic chance that Amelia Perez will win 13 Oscars. It would inevitably come up in any discussion about movie awards forever. Help. That is a chance, yeah. I kind of occupy the same position as Gary is with this one. It's like, yeah, do it. Give it a clean sweep. Just hasten your own demise as a viable like authority on what makes a good film, because you've practically destroyed yourselves anyway. This would just be the nail in the coffin. So
sure. Nobody likes it. Not even one person.
TJ Jordan says, can the Oscars go back to slapping each other? I say, yeah. There should be some kind of like I don't know, a battle royale situation where it's like, yeah, we're going to put a bunch of actors together in a room, and whoever like emerges victorious and alive at the end, they get the Oscar. They just have to literally fight it out. Because I think they would as well. I could see them being that desperate.
Pistols at dawn.
Yeah. Red X says, hello, Drinker. I'm writing a short film about a robotic butler in a conflict of becoming a superhero. Any thoughts? There's only one beer left. Cheers. I mean, sure, go for it. As far as concepts go, it's a bit wacky and out there, but that makes for like fertile ground for something interesting and different. Michael Whitehead says, if we start having rounded knives, should we have rubber hammers then, Drinker? Love your X comment.
Oh,
Yeah,
I saw that shit, man.
this is there's no other word than retarded. Like I level the charge of retardation at that statement.
I don't know
I
what to
love
say. It's already the parody vision. You know, it's already stupid. So there's just no comparison to make.
I love how hard they'll try to like pin the blame on anything except the person who did the crime. It's like, oh, it's because he was able to order a knife off Amazon. That's the reason all of this stuff happened. It's like, is it though? Is it really? Like,
I don't even like being like, kitchen knives, they're sharp. It's like, yeah, they better be. They're for cutting stuff. Like, what,
sure.
What do you mean? Next, you'll tell me a chainsaw can hurt people.
That's the thing. Like, if they weren't an essential implement that like you literally need them in order to prepare food and stuff, the government would ban them quite happily. That's where we're at with it. Robert John Collins music says, Drinker died, must have been a bad pint. Yeah. Mike, I don't know what was going on that night, man. Despot's internet seemed to be like timing out. Mine timed out a few times. It was a challenging stream, shall we say.
It was.
I did discover though, because I'd never been entirely sure on this, that I can like I could just leave my own stream and it'll continue. Which is
I
weird.
thought that's how it was working. And some of the ways that you would leave it was so funny. It would be like, give me 1 second because I just wanted to explain, like, really the meaning, the whole point of this is.
Yes.
Like, really?
And then my face was frozen on screen.
Every time it gets to the important information, it would cut out. It's like, ugh.
I know, so fucking frustrating. Johnny's says Tatiana is fucking with Drinker's internet again. It might have been her. It might have been my network adapter on my PC, potentially. I don't know if that's potentially on the fritz. Yeah, I'm going to keep a close eye on that because I don't want that happening again. That was annoying. Taker says Despot was just hired as a writer on Doctor Who. Yeah, did you see the new writing team they've got? They're going to turn that show around, Mauler.
We need a better word than dead at this point. We need something more extreme.
Yeah, I mean, where do you even go beyond this when it's like you've killed it, then you've exhumed its corpse and set it on fire, and then buried it again.
Mm-hmm.
It's that bad. St. Mongo the Whalish says, the Fat Electricians video deserves more Oscars than any movie this year. God bless you all for making my job bearable. Well, we do our best, so thank you, man. Strange Days says, Bryce Dallas Howard is the next person who'll sue Lyft for her next role. Ooh. Yeah, there was quite a lot of fat shaming going on the other night, and I was up for it. Erikius says, what do you mean? She is just like a Fabergé egg. Maybe she needed FedEx or USPS instead of Lyft. God. Blackest Night says, I'm pretty sure that rapper's name is Cholesterol. Yep. Odd Mimic says, 50 years later, they went back and killed the mum again. What was that a reference to? Fuck. What were we talking about after the fat shaming?
I mean, we went into some weird topics, didn't we? I can't remember.
Yeah. Oh, man, I'm sorry, Odd Mimic. I'm not sure what that was a reference to. Weebus says, hey, man, love your vids. Would you ever do a review of Arcane Season 2? Because a lot of people agree with your opinion in your end of 2024 video. Thanks. Arcane Season 2. I don't know if I'm the man who's qualified to fully break down that show. Because I feel like, one, I don't know enough about League of Legends to like know the background to the characters and stuff. I feel like my main complaint would be that I was just getting lost in all the lore, particularly towards the end, and that everything was moving so quickly that I couldn't even like keep up with who was fighting who and why. And I feel like maybe some of that would be explained if I knew more about the game, but I don't, and so I don't really have enough motivation to go and like learn it all. So
I can understand why you might think that, but no, a lot of the game people are furious with just how much has been altered from Victor and then how little has been adhered to. Sort of standard complaints. But no, nobody makes sense of that last episode. Nobody did. It was complete nonsense.
Well, that's good at least. So, yeah, I'm not just a complete idiot. Derek says Disney probably wish they could change his name to Captain China. Probably, yeah. Your name is an adverb says, to cleanse all this shite, what is the panel's thoughts on LA Confidential, a movie that I don't think would be made today? Excellent casting and really immersed you in 1953 LA without CGI. Oh, are you there, Muller? Hello?
Wait, so I think something just went wrong with my internet. I only heard like random noises. So, could you say what that was again? Like, I think
Okay.
it's back.
Now, is it your internet or is it mine? Let's find out.
I think it was mine because page went blank as well.
Okay. So the question was, what's the panel's thoughts on LA Confidential, a movie that I don't think would be made today? Excellent casting, and it really immersed you in 1953 LA without the CGI.
I thoroughly enjoyed LA Confidential. I watched it late, but by late I mean like 10 years ago, I think. And yeah, I just really enjoyed it. I'd probably watch it again at some point because I think it's been long enough that I've forgotten a decent amount of it. But there's certain parts that just sort of stick out in my memory, just like the performances mainly.
Cool. B-Chain. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Says, I thought I was bad being 205. I'm 5'7", so I changed shit and now I'm 30 pounds down. I could not imagine existing a life approaching 500. Good God. Cheers, gents. Yeah, good on you, man. Keep it up.
There's people at like 1,000 pounds. Like how could they be? They can't be walking, right? They have to have.
Yeah, that size. I don't think you could stand up.
Because that is at that point you are like actually in a body horror trap, you know, where you are floating inside this fat suit that's, you know what I mean? Like the skeleton in there would be like, what is happening? Like everything's wrong. You almost feel as well that what would happen if you just lightsabered off a big flubby chunk. Like, what happens to you? Like, I'm being honest here, like, I don't know enough about medicine, but with how they smear across like a sofa, if you just lightsaber off the furthest left, let's say 40 pounds or something, would it just be really painful, or what does that
Are you advocating just hacking chunks off fat people?
Well, I'm curious what because I know you'd have shock and pain and stuff, but like you wouldn't be losing anything.
Yes and no, because I think like don't all your organs and stuff like spread out, so they're potentially like mixed in amongst all this stuff.
I thought they still kind of sit within the usual range. That's why like a super fat person in an X-ray is just a skeleton trapped in a meat suit, like I said, meat prison, a meat maze.
I think you were talking about Boogie once. You referred to it as a flesh prison, and
it is.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I think even fat people would say that. Like that's how it feels. Probably.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, because like I suppose your lungs and stuff, like all the organs at the top, like heart and stuff, that can't get outside your rib cage. So that's there. That's containing them. And then further down, they're probably going to spread out a bit more, but then you do still have like abdominal muscles and stuff, however much they might have failed you in that case. And so, yeah, your organs and stuff probably are within a certain range. So you could lightsaber off big chunks like that. It would just be like bleeding and stuff would be the problem.
Because you look at these X-rays, the skeleton, for lack of a better way to describe this, is a thin person skeleton. It just everything looks normal, but everything else is not. Everything else is far. It's not like the skeleton becomes fat or anything, or everything moves out.
Yeah, well, like you say, it's like it's kind of floating in a fleshy soup within this much bigger frame. Yeah, I guess you could, but like. Yeah,
that's the thing. I wonder how much people would lose weight more if they could just for an hour experience what it would feel like to be, let's just say,
normal,
regular weight. Yeah, like it's some kind of magical medicine miracle thing that allows them to experience it, and then it goes back. Could you imagine the fucking relief and then the fucking pressure,
the crushing,
and I wonder
crushing realization.
I wonder if that, because that's the problem with dieting for a lot of people, is that it's a lot of work over a lot of time. And it's like, well, but the long-term results are amazing.
I mean, for people that are getting up to that like hypothetical, like insane range of like 1,000 pounds, where they basically are fused to the couch. Yeah, I assume that there's all kinds of like mental and emotional problems going on there that got them to that size. Like they don't have a normal mentality when it would come to food and stuff. So
No,
they're
that's why I
probably
was
a different
suggesting
case.
that you don't know what it'll be, but a lot of like, obese people that recover will often say like there was some event, something that happened that snapped them into position. A lot of people have been sending messages about how it was Boogie that got them moving, like watching someone use it for sympathy fail over and over again and just shove mountains of sugar into his throat. It was the kind of thing that's just like so gross. Like, oh, I can't be that. I don't want to be that. I'll have to stop. That sort of thing.
Yeah, because I think there's far more people who are in a sort of a lower category where it's like they can still walk around and kind of like exist normally, but like they're still really big and to the point where it's probably like detrimental to their health
Yeah.
long term. And it's like they're the ones who kind of need it more almost because like they could be helped more. And a lot of them are just in that position like through maybe circumstance. Like I can imagine like if you're working a busy job or you live a very stressful life, you can't afford like gym memberships or trainers or anything like personal trainers, that sort of thing. It's like, okay, it's probably going to be harder for you to find the time to exercise and stuff. But yeah, it can always be done. There's always a way. And yeah, like if there's some kind of inspiration that you find, even from someone like Boogie, then it's all useful, I do wonder how many people like watched The Whale and it inspired them to like lose weight because they were like, oh my god, this could be me in 10 years time. Like if I carry on the way I'm going to end up like this guy.
It's going to have happened for sure. It's so unfortunate 'cause it's such a huge problem, and for lack of a better term, like it's it's the number one killer, right? Heart disease.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
But it's the person, it's people like that woman suing the Lyft company, right? That annoy me the most because it's like they don't see a problem with the fact that they weigh like 3 times what they should for a normal human. And they think it's the rest of the world's fault that it can't accommodate them. And it's like it never enters into their head. The rest of the world is set up to accommodate normal people within a certain range, and you're way outside that, and it's your fault. Like, don't
I just
blame
assume
them.
it's like a standard human thing of trying to fit into a taxi and you literally can't because you're too big. It's just got to be the most embarrassing fucking thing, and then you turn that into anger, and then you're like, "This shouldn't have happened to me. I shouldn't have had to feel so bad. This is actually the company's fault."
Oh, I just saw that image you sent me as well, like the X-ray.
Yeah,
So
that's what I mean.
Is that definitely real?
If you look at it on Google Images, they're all the same. All of them look like that.
Wow.
That's what I mean. The skeleton itself doesn't change. Why would it, right?
I mean,
But
I thought at
I almost
least
feel
like
sorry for the skeleton because it's like, why do I got to pull this around? What the fuck?
It's like I used to be able to feel like the outside of this flesh body. It was like it was close to me, and now it's really far away.
Well, what's crazy, right, is like it's so much more pressure, but it's constant. So, because like a lot of people would assume is like, do fat people have a lot more muscle then because they're pulling around so much weight all the time? It's like I don't know if that is it. Probably maybe a little bit more than like super skinny people, but
Probably
not like
their
people who are
legs,
working
I
out.
would think. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, they don't walk that much, I assume, because then they'd fucking break their ankles and knees and shit. That's how it goes.
I think they
Like
are
a fit fat person is just not really a thing.
Yeah, it's a bit of an oxymoron, isn't it? Yeah, I think as well, like they're quite prone to like let's say arthritis of the knees and stuff because it's like so much pressure on those joints, like constant. Yeah.
Well, and it's the worst, right? 'Cause it doesn't build. It's just no pressure when they're lying down, and then heavy pressure when they get up, and then no pressure, and then it's like the worst thing. It's not, gradual or anything.
Yeah. And it's like, yeah, ultimately, like as human creatures, we're not designed to be that big. It's such a strange facet of like culture today and like living in the sort of advanced civilization that we have that you're able to get to that size. Like obviously if we were hunter gatherers or something, like someone like that would just not be able to exist. Be like, yeah, you've been eating too much of the mammoth. Ugh. You need to you need to lay off it.
Oh, so it's a combination. Not to make this go longer than it already was, but just there's such a huge combination of elements that drives it to this point, right? Like the ease of access to such awful food that's super addictive.
Yeah,
Well, that'll do it.
There's cultures that really clamp down. I'm sure in Japan it's like you know, if they saw like an American, like that woman from the lawsuit against Lyft walking down the street, like they would stare at her in absolute horror because they wouldn't encounter someone of that size in their
Hmm.
day-to-day lives. It's just like their culture doesn't really allow for it. And I think people like almost get publicly shamed for being like hugely overweight there.
Yeah.
Interesting. Anyway, so we went off on another fat tangent. God damn it. Why does this
They're
keep happening?
infectious.
Yeah. I just find them fascinating. Yeah. TWF says, glad to see you guys together. For each member of the panel, what was the worst movie or show that you've seen from this woke era of Hollywood? So 2015 to the present day. For me, it
Worst
was
movie.
yeah, so like I guess the wokest of the woke, for example. And if this person's saying for me, it was either Dark Fate or War of the Rohirrim. There's
Man,
a lot to choose
is it
from.
recency bias to say it might, like, what comes to my mind is Joker 2?
I mean, sure, you can go with that.
What a
I mean,
disaster. What an anti-film. It's like it only exists to try and attack and destroy the first one.
Yeah. I'm trying to think from my own point of view. I mean, Dark Fate, I can see that. It might potentially be The Last Jedi.
I mean,
I'm just trying to
yeah.
because like it's got the same elements of Dark Fate as like trying to like attack like viciously and deconstruct everything that came before it. It's got all the generic girl power crap in it. It's like it's structured in the same way as like a kind of anti-Star Wars film, where nothing makes sense. The characters are complete nonsensical morons, and yeah, I think that might be the worst of them, but there probably has been other ones. I'm just I'm blanking on them right now, potentially. The one that made me laugh was the 6888, the Netflix movie about the postal service people in World War II. I know it wasn't like the wokest of the woke or anything, but it's just like they fucking worked in a mailroom sorting letters, and it's like the trailer frames it like they're charging up the beaches on D-Day or something. It's like, calm down, fuck's sake. Oh man. Derek says best death in a horror movie. I would say Samuel L. Jackson in Deep Blue Sea. That was pretty good, pretty unexpected.
Man, that was just ready to go for you, huh?
No, that wasn't me. That was just what the person said.
Oh, okay. Have you got a pick then, or?
Let's see. I did like the end of Drag Me to Hell when it's just like you think she's gotten away. It's just like, nope, you're not getting out of this one. Yeah, any others? Oh, I know it's not strictly a horror movie, but you know in RoboCop, the guy who gets toxic waste on him.
Oh yeah.
It's not just that; it's the fact that when he gets hit by a car, he just kind of explodes. That was pretty bad.
I'm trying to think. Oh, I mean, Hereditary, right? Have you seen that?
You know what? I don't think I have seen that one because that Midsummer followed on directly from that, didn't it? Like same director and everything.
Oh, it might be. Yeah, not
a sequel.
Story,
I mean,
but, yeah. But there's a famous death in that. That's pretty.
Oh, tell me.
Well, I mean, if I think you maybe should watch it because I quite liked Hereditary, and to be fair, I didn't like Midsummer either. So,
I mean, I will probably forget your description by the time I come to watch it.
Okay, well, anyone listening who doesn't want to know, fucking turn it off at this point or whatever, we'll mute it. But so I'll remain slightly vague. But there's a car ride that's happening, and the guy who's driving is a little bit reckless, not taking good care of things, and there's a little girl in the back. And she's poking her head out the window just to see some stuff, see how everything's going. Oh, this is fun. And he drives too close to a post and it decapitates her.
Okay.
It's like, oh shit! Like, it just comes right off.
What? Just out of curiosity as well, like, what's your favorite death in the Final Destination movies?
Oh, that's a good question. I do have because I actually, when I was a lot younger, when Final Destination 1 came out first, I was a little bit obsessed with that movie in terms of just like I thought it was such a fucking cool idea that there's this force that's actively having to solve the problem of killing people that are on some kind of universal cosmic list that have to go, and the little things that it does, and like what could we learn more about it. But obviously the older I got, the less I was like, this is actually cringe. But I mean, specifically the later ones anyway, because I quite like the first two, and I somewhat like the fifth one, but 3 and 4 especially is fucking garbage. But favorite death, it probably, off the top of my head, it might go to 2 right now because it's what's come to my head. If we're discounting the opening of Final Destination 2, right? The logs and the crazy fucking like motorway pile up and all those different deaths, because that's almost like a collective sequence. That would be my favorite sequence of deaths out of all of the films. But the individual death I really like is the one where they have he's like the weed guy. He's like a druggie or whatever. And there's an explosion that hits this wooden fence that's wrapped in I think like barbed wire. So it just flings it at him super high speed, and he gets sliced 3 times at different parts of his body. And so then he falls apart in 3 different chunks. And I think it's all practical. So all of like the guts, the blood, and him falling apart looks like excellent. I remember it's so funny that you'd think like the normal reaction. This is what it was like when I was younger. This is why my parents like kind of weird. It was tweeted out by me, but I was just like, "Oh, that's so fucking cool." They was like,
yeah,
"Okay, yeah,
that's
fine."
the total kid reaction.
Yeah, because it looked awesome. Honestly, if anyone hasn't seen that in a while, go look at it. It looks so much better than a lot of CG shit these days.
Yeah. I always remember the one as well. Like, I think it's Final Destination 2, right? There's like one dude who's like a kind of because it's kids in a high school again, and there's one dude who's like a kind of amateur filmmaker guy, and he's like got his car parked at like a drive-through or something, and like a semi truck like goes out of control. I think the driver like left it in park, and like the brake came off. Like that's what death does to like get it out.
Yeah.
And it like it's crashes into the back of like the cars in line, and it knocks the engine block of like the truck, I think, behind him through his car, and like the fan at the top just like slices his head apart. But it's like it only does like the back part of his head, so the front of it is just kind of still there. And just when you think it's like over and everyone's staring at him in shock, it just starts again, like throws a bit of brains their way.
That's Final Destination 3, I think.
Oh, is that the third one? Right.
Yeah. If I should know my Final Destinations. We did a whole arc on it, but they're doing a new one, and I'm actually going to be excited about that just for the memes and nostalgia.
Yay.
And that'll be Tony Todd's last role as well, I think.
Oh yeah. Gosh. Taker 610 says, "Cue the retired Jeremy memes." Naturally. Volkeg says, "My name is Hamuel L. Snackson, and I am 600 pounds. I am in a KFC eating from the new endless bucket of wings. I am thoroughly offended." I'm sure you are, sir. James Moore. Society unironically heading towards the fatties from Judge Dredd. Soon they're going to unionize during famines so that they can get enough food to stay fat. It's potentially going to happen, yeah. Cliff says, "Drinker, I'm fat." Okay, straight in there. This is just more motivation for me to get back in shape. I started at 300 and now I'm down to 286 in just 1 month. I'm working to get to 199. That's the perfect weight, naturally. But yeah, good luck to you, man. Knife-wielding woman says, "Damn it, Anthony, you were supposed to be the cool one." It's Anthony Mackie there.
Oh, yeah, right. Well, broadly the sentiment I had was just treat people as people. They can have like 100 good takes and 1 bad one, whatever.
Yeah. Shindo Versus says, "Remember, Fat Bastard said that line before a long, sad fart. Speaking of, did you guys see the new Spider-Man show? Cheers, gents." Yeah, so Chris saw it, and he gave us the lowdown on that. I don't think he was too impressed by it.
Yes, and well remembered that a fart does follow that sentiment from Fat Bastard. And they're just like, "Oh."
Yeah, I remember when he was still in the army and his commanding officer looks at him and he's like, Try to lose some weight, for God's sake.
For God's sake. Yeah,
He
it's
just
very
says it with
British.
such fucking disgust.
Yes, sir. Mr. English Colonel telling me to lose weight. I ain't a baby. I remember when I first ever saw
The
it, I was losing my
other
shit.
white meat.
Oh,
God.
there's so many reasons why that character could totally not work, but it worked.
Yeah. It wouldn't work now. You definitely wouldn't be able to have
No,
him
you
in.
wouldn't be allowed.
Shaker Silver says Cap 4's budget is now reported as 180 million. I say BS. I agree. It's definitely bullshit. Strange Days says Mackie should have done his homework and mentioned Horatius Cockles instead. Horatius defended and held off the attacking army long enough to allow other Romans to destroy the bridge behind him in 509 BC, equivalent of 300, but with Rambo. Sure. Okay.
All right, yeah.
I'll go with that. Baron von Bastard says, unrelated question, what is your perfect sandwich? Whoa. Now, this is a question that you don't want to just give a flippant answer to, because a man's sandwich says a lot about him.
This is like deep thought.
Yeah, I used to say a Reuben, but I've gone off them a little bit now. A Cuban sandwich is pretty good, and sometimes like a club sandwich, I can get behind that. You know, chicken, bacon, all the salady stuff. This is pretty good.
Yeah, the thing is, I just don't think about like a particular one as opposed to just ingredients I like assorted, because I wouldn't even want the same sandwich over and over again. You know what I mean? Like, but
true.
broadly speaking, like, yeah, I love chicken and a big fan of all different kinds of, like, you know, like you could have regular or barbecue or chicken tikka, sort of chicken pieces or something.
Yeah. Deli meats I really like. So yeah, like salamis and stuff like that.
I'm really not picky. I like ham, I like cheese, the salad difference, throwing them in. Yeah, why not? And
are you a mustard man though? That's what I need to know.
I think it's not that I don't like mustard; it's that I'll always probably prefer barbecue instead. But I mean, I'd be willing to toss some mustard on there every once in a while. Sure.
Cool. See, these are important questions about life. You know, who needs to be talking about? Well, I think it's ironic as well that we were talking about fatties for so long, and then we get a question about sandwiches. So that's great. Badass says, have Ryan on more. He fits in perfectly with the drinker mauler world. Please bring this amazing human on more. Well, there you go. It's a pretty strong endorsement of Ryan right now.
The man is doing his own stuff. You know, we can't have him all the time. But we'll try.
Yeah, I remember talking to him last year in Orlando, and it's like, I'm sure he puts out like 3 or 4 videos a day between his different channels.
Hard worker, that boy.
He's a content machine. Normal man. Anthony Mackie would make a good EFAP guest. Also, Bucky should have been Captain America. It would have made for a good character arc. It would have, and I think he earned it. But yeah, what do you reckon, Mo? Are you going to have Anthony Mackie on EFAP?
We would have anyone on EFAP, but the second he joins, we'd be like, all right, give us the skinny. What's happening? Give us all the exclusive content. Tell us every little dark secret Marvel has. Otherwise, we're booting you.
Okay. I'm sure he would as well.
Yeah, he totally would.
Grimnack says, Mauler always keeping everyone in check. Love it. Yeah, that's the most angry I've heard you in ages.
Well, if you watch it back, I think I may have come across of one particular like reason than the other, which was I was trying to get that out a few times, and you know how it works. Unfortunately, like I would say, oh, you know, blah, 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 and then someone else talks. I was like, okay, yeah, and then after like the 5th time of that, I was like, fuck, am I ever going to be able to say? Because I thought that what I was going to say was going to be pretty controversial, so I wanted to try and deliver it in a way that was, you know, civil, calm, smooth. But by the time we got to the 15th, like, Anthony Mack is pretty awesome, and there's no reason to think. I was just like, holy shit, it could just be something that he said that we don't agree with. That's that. It doesn't need to be this crazy thing. Because I know people have been saying, like, he's said more cringe than that in the past. It's like, that's fine, whatever. Just, like, we can just take it. I don't know why we were, like, the framing of the discussion was almost like, so is he in the club anymore of cool people? And it's just like, I don't want to look at it that way. Just the statement he made about America and Captain America, I didn't like it, I didn't agree with it, and that's that. It's all right.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair. It's a totally fair take. I just loved how, because I could sort of sense it boiling away, and then you'd obviously just heard enough, and it's like, fuck it, I'm butting in, and you just felt like, enough. I'm gonna say my bit now. Thing is, I wasn't really privy to most of that conversation because I was fucking like trying to get my internet working again. So who knows what you guys were talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Ghost Army. Oh no, sorry. John Gates, first of all, says Evans was drunk as fuck at the AOU premiere. Look it up. What's AOU again?
Age of Ultron.
Oh right, yeah.
Evans being Chris Evans, I guess.
Yeah, drunk Chris Evans. Need to look that up. Ghost Army says, "Don't give a shit about my barber's personal opinions. Why should I care about a celebrity's?" Exactly. Jesus Davila gave us beer. Thank you. I like beer. Chef Buttered Biscuit says, Anthony Mackie deserves benefit of the doubt, in my opinion, based off his career and his poise. Muller's getting triggered. The slippery slope theorem slides both ways, in which a small moment can lead to a worse outcome, just like an overreaction to said moment. Yeah, I think that's fair. Totally fair.
Well, yeah, I mean, also just look at the motivation behind saying what he said, and you don't need to assume the worst from any given statement from anybody. So it's okay. Take it for whatever you think it is truly meaning of. Because I'm not like the arbiter of what anything means of what people have said, but I wasn't enjoying the sort of, like, someone says, it's that thing from the Twitter. You've seen the Twitter meme for this, right? Where it's like, I hate, or I love waffles or something, and then the response is like, so you hate like donuts or something, and they say, bitch, that's a whole new sentence. I never said that. I kind of see it in the same way when if someone says like Captain America should not be representative of America, and then someone else says, no, what he means is that you would want it to be representative of the whole world, and I'd be like, bitch, that's a whole new sentence. He didn't say that. He said the other thing, which is, take it for what it is.
Sure. I mean, I guess sometimes it's it's interesting to look at things in context and try and speculate on what they might have been driving at. Because I'm sure we all know ourselves, when we're unscripted and where we're just making off the cuff statements, we don't always express ourselves in the best, most diplomatic way possible. It's just the nature of it. And sometimes that sort of speculation can maybe give a better understanding. But yeah, I totally get it. Like, ultimately, he's said the things that he's said, and like, you take what he says at face value. So
sure,
yeah, it's fine with that. What was the other thing? Yeah, I think he has actually come out and said something else just yesterday, was it? When he was talking about the way the Hulk was originally presented, like, was it going to be an allegory for Trump because he's like this power-hungry president who turns into a big red monster? And then he's like, well, we could have made that motherfucker yellow and you still would have found a reason to get mad about it. Yeah, how about we all just chill out and go to the cinema and enjoy ourselves once in a while?
It's going to be impossible for people not to draw allegory from this movie. Isn't the president's going to destroy the White House in it, right?
I think he is, yeah.
So
based on the trailer,
how are people not going to read into that?
Yeah. Yep. Let me go. What was the next one here? Yeah, Evans says, Mr. Long, can you update the EFAP YouTube playlist?
I can.
Okay,
the shortest answer ever.
Will you, though? Gleeman says, just a quick thank you for the long man being short and still hammering the point home so concisely.
Was I short? I don't think I was, but okay. I'll take it.
Yeah, by Mauler standards. Grimnack also says, Mauler, we appreciate that you don't let perceived wokeness cloud your judgment on the quality of the writing, and we love you for that.
Very well, sir.
Flame Tiger, I'm black, but I liked Captain America, Steve Rogers' version, because I relate to his idea of American patriotism. I hope this movie bombs at the box office. Well, it probably will. So, yeah, I think you'll get your wish. St. Mungo the Whalish says, I actually had this conversation with two black guys at the post office. One said he was excited, and the other said Falcon is cool, but not Captain America. It's the first time I've had a talk like that, and it was awesome. Cool. Good stuff.
Sure, yeah.
Shaker Silver, the MCU's rush to adapt modern comics robbed us of a proper redemption for Bucky, where he could take up the shield in place of Steve. He's been wasted. He has. He has been kind of like floating in the ether like the Winter Soldier. I feel like ever since his intro movie, he was cool as fuck in that, and it's been a gradual descent into just making him into a bit of a joke.
I quite love the Bucky story and the Cap trilogy. I think it's really solid. When you get to the Infinity War Endgame stuff, it's like, okay, he's on like the back burner, I guess, and then it just went to absolute shit. It's like, oh
Yeah. Where is the next one? Idiotison says, "Hey, Drinkoid. Not sure if anyone told you, but good news. The quote from Isabella Merced saying Madam Web failed because of sexism turned out to not be real. Great. I'm happy about that." Lemel Daglia says, "Hail to the open bar. Wouldn't it be funny if Ryan just ends up with a 10 out of 10 black girl 10 years his junior? Love you all." I mean, sure, I guess.
No, he wants Kristen Milioti from good old the Batman. The Penguin.
Okay. Renault the Turk says, "EFAP Commando, happy hour number 7 is a treasure. Cheers." Oh, yeah.
Are they saying they want me to do EFAP Commando? Because it's not impossible, but
I think you could have fun with that movie. Caleb Holland says, "Muller, what are your thoughts on Buffy season 7? I like it a lot, but Buffy being so ready to kill Anya really bugged me in particular. I'm almost through."
Of all the things you could have taken issue with, that's actually an episode that I think is one of the better ones of the season, and I think the logic is pretty clear. And I really love the back and forth all the characters have in that one in terms of whether or not it's the moral thing to do, so to speak. And it's probably Anya's best episode in terms of getting her to address a lot of things that go unaddressed for too long. But season 7's super wonky. I pretty much love everything to do with Spike, mostly everything with Buffy. I'm not a huge fan of how they handled Giles. The potentials are almost garbage, like almost entirely, and they take up way too much time. They are the backbone of all the themes, so that's why they're there, but I don't think they're very well executed at all, and some of their accents are fucking ridiculous. There's one of them that talks like this, and you're like, yeah.
What are you saying? That's 100% accurate Cockney accent, Muller.
Andrew getting so much screen time, I think that was a mistake. I don't know why they thought he was so funny. I still like Xander, Willow, like they're still pretty solid in there, but Kennedy's a bit rough. And then generally the enemy, they didn't take anywhere near as much advantage of the first as they could have. So big old rocky season compared to its predecessor, which for me is my favorite, season 6. It's excellent stuff.
Nice. Jay Fraser says, "Hail gents, some pennies for the new drinker PC." Oh, thanks. Hopefully I don't need it. I really like this PC, actually. It's pretty fucking good for the most part, and it's normally super quick at everything I need it to do. But I will keep an eye on the network adapter just to see if that might be having some issues. Shaker Silver says, "If it's Dark Avengers now, then Muppets are next. Don't give them ideas." Bumcrack Jones says, "Money jump scare." Michael says, "Drinker, I'm late here, but thanks for recent Acolyte video cover. I never knew Amandla was that talented. I would have watched it more if I had known." Yeah, don't though, because you don't get to see any of her real talents in that TV show. Sadly, they keep everything covered up as much as possible. So just enjoy the premiere footage. Don Mack says, "What's your favorite black comedy?" And by that, I don't mean Tyler Perry movies, but dark comedy movies. Ooh. So
dark comedies is where we're starting.
Death of Stalin count as a dark comedy?
I recently rewatched that, very recently. That film is funny as fuck.
Yes, it is.
I love
it. It wouldn't work without the English accents, I don't think.
It's what a fucking insane idea. I love that it happened, that they got to make it, because it didn't do very well, I think.
No.
Which is such a shame, because it deserves to do well. I really enjoy it's such a great piece of sort of filmmaking to try and prove a point, which is that I think anybody would reasonably say, what the fuck is this awful, disrespectful movie? And I'd be like, nah, it's a roundabout way of being respectful. It's capturing a whole, the exact same point you'd want for that era and that event, but through a completely different lens and tone. Because by the time you get to near the end of that film, it's kind of, it's rough. It's not a happy film by then.
Well, yeah, once they decide to make their move and they give him the show trial and drag him outside, that's dead serious right there. They're not playing around anymore.
I didn't realize that was he was Simon in season 2 of House of the Dragon, same guy. I didn't realize, like, I didn't know that when I'd first. Well, I wouldn't have known that because I'd seen Death of Stalin before that season, and so watching it after, he's a really good actor. Let me see if I can find his name because, like, I've already seen him in both of those, and he does excellent in both of them in terms of like his charisma. Someone I really liked in Death of Stalin was it's Barrier I'm talking about. That's the character he plays,
Yes.
but he's like the worst of them throughout. You know, and his introduction is just how willing and ready he is to put anyone on a list or destroy their families, threaten anything, and then he keeps that sort of strong and even witty sort of zeal right up until he's lost absolutely everything and the order's been signed and they get in the gun, and then he like starts begging for his life and he gets shot like straight away. It was really fucking effective. I actually liked it more on my second watch through of Death of Stalin. Yeah, his name is Simon Russell Beale.
Okay.
But really enjoyed him in any the stuff I've seen of him so far.
Well, I mean, Jason Isaacs is Zukov.
He's fucking excellent.
Possibly a career best performance from him. He's like, you just can't take your eyes off him every time he's on screen, and his fucking one-liners are just incredible.
No, I'm laughing, but I'm very fucking furious.
Yeah. Stick a saddle on her, I'll ride her all the way to Siberia.
I'm only joking. Look at your face. He's fucking brilliant at that.
Doesn't he at one point say, like, I fucked the Germans? Do you think I give a fuck about that flesh lump?
Yeah, he's worth seeing it. Like, his stuff is worth the whole film. But I mean, everyone's really good at it.
Well, I think as well, like, what's clever about it, because it's like framed as a comedy initially, it's like you assume like, well, all this stuff is just completely absurdist and like it's a complete distortion of historical events. But if you look it up, and particularly towards the end when the conspiracy goes ahead and like the coup happens, that is pretty much bang on what actually happened. Like, that's how it played out. This shit was going on in the Kremlin. Like, they were just like straight up gunning people down.
They obviously stretch all different times of events and stuff, but there are a couple of things. Like, if you read up, if it encourages you to read up on it, that's only a good thing anyway. But yeah, I don't know. I'm quite happy that film exists. It's very unique, and I guess that does answer the question pretty well.
John Platt says, Drinker, what are your thoughts on the UK government proposing taxing streaming services to fund the BBC? They can get fucked with that. It's like, what, you're opting out of like paying this mandatory fee for a service that you don't even use? Well, we'll just tax you on other stuff and force you to fund it. Like, no, fuck off. Stop trying to make us pay for the BBC. Like, if I don't use it, why the hell should I have to pay for it?
Yeah.
They can fuck right off with that. Christopher Pratchett says, Drinker needs an X-ray girl. Too bad all the Asians in Scotland are too busy frying Mars bars for the locals. That is a heinous distortion of the truth, sir. Most of them are in beauty parlors, to be fair. But yeah, I think in this case, like a producer wouldn't have been able to help much. It was just something that was going on with the internet, sadly. Even X-ray girl couldn't have fixed it. Otto Deutsch Vag says, Emilia Perez getting 13 Oscar nominations seems like the final death rattle of the woke guard at the Academy. They're like, woke is over. Let's get this woke film into Oscar history before we're chucked out. The thing is, I honestly don't know what impact this is going to have. Like, I was joking earlier, but yeah, let it have a clean sweep and win everything, and it'll just make the Oscars even more irrelevant. But I don't know what then the results of that would look like in terms of what they do with subsequent Oscars, what they do with the jury.
Maybe there's been enough backlash for them to be like, oh fuck, we don't want to do this now. Careful, you know.
I mean, do they put the thumb on the scales and make sure it doesn't win too many important ones?
I'd have to imagine. I think that if we knew the absolute truth about every last detail of how everything works in the Oscars, we'd actually be disappointed. We'd be like, wow, that's fucking shit. Even with the information we have now, we'd still be like that, I think.
Sword of Rome. I started rewatching Buffy, but the nostalgia factor is so strong that I have to stop watching it every now and then. Did this ever happen to any of you fine gentlemen? P.S. I never skip the intro. It's that rock music, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. So do you mean, like, when you say the nostalgia factor is too strong, what does that mean?
I mean, it's a super chat, so I can't really interrogate it for more information. But I assume what they're meaning is like if you watch this first time around and then you're coming back to it as an older person. I don't know. Does it evoke too strong feelings of your childhood or whatever? And it's like, every so often you've just got to take a bit of an emotional break from that.
I don't think. Have you ever had anything like that?
Probably not with movies, no, because like I don't think with most things like I would have gone that long without watching it again. It's not like there's a film that I watched once when I was a kid and it made a super big impression on me, and then I just didn't touch it for 30 years and came back to it later. Like I haven't really had a film like that. That kind of nostalgia would be more associated with places. So say I was to revisit my childhood home or something like that, maybe I would have it then.
Well, yeah, I mean, for me, I can't really. Maybe if it were more specific, I could think of a time where it's happened for me. But no, a lot of the time, I only associate that with like really. So, say for example, I loved a particular thing, but I haven't seen it in 15 years. If I started watching it, and you get that feeling of holy fuck, like my memory of this is like it's all pieces, and I constructed something else in my head, and I'm watching what is reality, what I would have seen, like that all that experience. I kind of love. Like I don't get overwhelmed by it or anything.
You know what sometimes hits harder is like, you know how there'll be shows or movies that you only have fragmented memories of, right?
Yeah.
From your childhood or whatever. And it's like, okay, I can't remember the exact name of this thing, and I don't remember the full story of it, but like certain scenes or certain moments really kind of, for whatever reason, imprinted themselves in my memory.
Mm-hmm.
If you're somehow able to track down that thing and then watch it, and like all those different like disjointed pieces suddenly come together into a cohesive memory, you're like, oh shit, that's cool. I finally solved that little mystery. Like that sort of thing is awesome.
Do you have anything off the top of your head that's like that? Or was?
There was one. It was a TV show called, I think it was called Neverwhere, right? And it came out in the 90s. Let me see if I've got the name right. Yes. Yeah, it was a really like crazy, like slightly surreal urban fantasy thing that came out in the mid 90s. And so I watched it as a kid, and I had like really strong memories of certain moments of it. And then I just made a point one day of like, I don't know, maybe a year or so ago of like, I'm going to figure out what this fucking thing was. Like with my fragmented things that I could remember, I just like hit Google and tried to describe them as best I could, and eventually tracked it down. And then I found a copy of it to watch, and I was like, yes, got it, nailed it.
A good feeling, yeah.
It was, yeah. It's like took a bit of detective work, but then I got there, and I was like, it was actually pretty good as well. I don't know. I feel like there was a lot of slightly crazy experimental stuff that they were doing back then that they just they had no idea if it was going to succeed or not, but it was fun all the same. Anyway, what was the next one? Godzilla's Greaser says, I've said this before, but I just find it so funny that George Lucas's Strange Magic, a film panned by critics, did a much better hero and villain love story than both of Disney's Star Wars attempts.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't surprise me, I guess. I don't know how difficult it is to do better than Disney Star Wars at this point. But yeah.
Thunderstorm says, Captain America Lost Falcon is a slow-moving train wreck. Kind of, yeah. But it's getting faster now because we're almost there. Clark Family says, have you watched Detectorists? If so, did you like it? So is that the metal detecting thing?
Yes, with, funnily enough, the guy from Pirates of the Caribbean, the one with the eye that always
Crook
pops out. Yeah, I think so. And then the other one is the guy who played Zola in the MCU.
Like, we can't remember any of their names, but it's just like, the guy from Pirates.
I wish I did remember that guy because he's really good. But
yeah, he's in a lot of things as well. Always a solid actor. But yeah, I watched the first 2 or 3 episodes of it. I thought it was just a nice, charming little sort of slice of life comedy thing. It was fine. I think maybe if I'd given more attention to it and like got more into it, it's apparently meant to be really entertaining.
Fair enough. Yeah, I haven't seen any of it. I just saw it advertised.
Yeah. Le Pew says, from one Pfeiffer to another, why aren't you uploading the TOB after live streams like FNT instead of parts. It saves you making videos during the week or it's TOB, the open bar.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. What I tend to do is move it to my second channel. And usually it takes until Sunday until I get around to it. Because, like, what I think I tend to do is cut it up into some little chunks so people can watch clips from it. Because, you know, as I've said before, not everyone can really be bothered sitting through like a 2.5, 3 hour live stream. But, like, if you give them some 10, 15-minute clip of something that's super relevant to what they're interested in, then they're much more likely to watch that and get a bit of entertainment out of it. So that's what I tend to do. And then once those are done, then put the rest of it up on like Sunday.
Well, I think it's proven to be a pretty effective system in terms of you'll have fans who watch just your main stuff, then you'll have fans who watch the main stuff and the podcast, then you'll have fans who watch the main stuff but don't want to watch the podcast, but are interested in your opinion on certain things that don't get covered in videos. And so you kind of got them all covered at this point. I will say your system for doing that is what inspired the EFAB highlights creation of the channel, which is essentially what that is. It's we do an episode, gets uploaded, but then it gets cut into pieces so that people who consume stuff that way get to, you know, do that.
Yeah. I mean, it's like we're never going to please absolutely everyone all the time, but like we do our best to cater to as many people as possible and all their various needs and tastes and so on. And this is the best, most efficient way I can think to do it. So it seems to be working. So.
True.
Scores says Chris Evans will come back as Nomad.
Could do.
G says, what's up? Have you guys seen Alice in Borderland? Yes, interestingly enough. I've just finished season 1 and I like it. There's 2 seasons.
Recommend?
I would. I think you'll get something out of it. Yeah, it's starting to lift the veil on some of the mysteries that are going on and how all this has been brought about, but like there's still loads of unanswered questions, so I like that. It's an interesting way it handles its characters because, you know, normally with something like, say, Squid Game, you start off with a big cast of characters, gradually get to know them, and then they start getting bumped off, so they get whittled down to like the core group that you know really well by the end and you're super invested in. With this, it's more like a steady stream of characters that come and go, and like, you know, someone will show up for like an episode or two and then get killed off, and then the next bunch of people will come in, and then you start to get to know them and they die or move off and do other things or whatever. So it's an interesting way of doing it, but you do find yourself liking certain people quite a bit and hoping they'll pull through. So it's doing something right, that's for sure.
Interesting. Yes.
So yeah, I like the concept. Jay Fraser says, the most faithful and greatest adaptation of Sherlock Holmes is the 1980s Granada TV series with Jeremy Brett, the GOAT. BBC's Sherlock hates itself. Well, there you go. Panda23 says, Cap threw a dude into a propeller in First Avengers.
I wouldn't use that argument. If you watch the moment, it's like arguable that the guy fell into it rather than Cap pushing him or anything. So,
but I mean, he does just straight up shoot people, doesn't he?
Yeah, no. Well, not only that, but this argument came up with the stupid fucking John Walker shit. My favorite pick is in Winter Soldier. He kicks a man, and he flings across like the deck of a ship. We're talking, I want to say like 6 meters, and his back slams into the side of the ship, and he falls off into the water. Meaning, the most reasonable interpretation of what's happened to that man is his spine broke, and then he drowned.
Yeah.
Like, that's what happened to him. That's what Cap did to him. And it's like, that's so horrible. It's like, no, it's Cap fighting people who had taken, I think they were terrorists. They took over the ship and they had hostages. It's what Cap does. Cap will kill you. He will. So, like, well, yeah, I don't know why everyone's confused about this.
It's a war, effectively, that they're in. And, yeah, that's what's necessary. Like, Iron Man's killed a whole bunch of people. So's Black Widow. Like, none of these people...
There's been so much discussion of Batman, Spider-Man, and Superman that it's almost spread into, and Daredevil. That like everyone has a no-kill rule. It's like no.
Miles says the Astartes 2 trailer. Have you seen it? No, I haven't yet. Actually, I've been meaning to go and watch that. So yeah, I'll take a look. Default says, which nominee would you award Best Picture? So let me see the nominees again, because.
I mean, for me, I've not seen enough of them to say. Thing is, I've been put off seeing several of them. Some of my friends have seen some of them and just said like, "No, you'll hate it." I was like, "Ugh."
Yeah, come on, where are you? I mean, oh yeah, best picture. So Anora, The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Emilia Perez, I'm Still Here, Nickel Boys, The Substance, and Wicked. Fuck me, that's a lot of nominees. Good lord, I thought there was supposed to be like 4 or something. Out of all of these, I don't know. I kind of want to give it to The Substance just to shake things up.
I'd be fine with
that. I mean, Dune Part 2, I'd maybe award it on more of like technical levels rather than like best picture. Like the visuals and stuff are absolutely spectacular. Don't know if I would consider it the best movie of the year, but I did like it. And last of all, Ty Robs says, "Hello, Bar or Last Orders. I'm currently listening while taking my first drive in my first car. Love you guys." That is pretty fucking cool.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, congratulations on your new car, man. Or your first car, in fact. Hope you had a lovely drive in it, and I hope you put it through its paces while listening to us. That's pretty cool. And that's a pretty good way to end our super chats there, because that was the last one.
Nailed it.
Well, thank you, guys. It's funny, actually, because we didn't really have that many to get through tonight, but we still went over an hour just because we started talking about fatties for so long. It's like our Achilles heel, man.
It truly is.
I know what's going to happen now. People will send us loads of super chats asking, like, "What's your opinion on this fat person?" Like, anyway, it was a pleasure as always, guys, and we will catch you on the next open bar on Thursday. But for now, that's all we got for today. So go away now.
Bye.